What's up, rockers? Welcome to Japanese Female Rock, the podcast that takes you straight into the heart of Japan's most badass female rock bands. If you're here for epic riffs, powerhouse vocals, and all the behind-the-scenes action from some of the fiercest women in rock, then buckle up. You've come to the right place. In today's episode, we're diving into everything from the hottest rising stars to the legendary queens of the scene. Whether you're a hardcore fan or just wondering why everyone's buzzing about these bands, stay tuned. We've got music recs, fresh updates, and a few surprises lined up for you. So, throw on those headphones, crank the volume, and let's dive deep into the world of Japanese female rock. All right, so let's talk about something that's been blowing up in recent years. Female Japanese rock. I mean, just look at bands like BAND-MAID, Love Bites, and Aldius. They've been putting Japan on the global rock and heavy metal map in a way that's seriously impressive. It's like Japan went from just being known for pop and visual kei to becoming this creative powerhouse in rock. These bands, they've opened the floodgates for a whole new wave of badass female artists who are totally shaping the future of the genre with this killer mix of aggression, crazy good technical skills, and insane stage presence. But let's be real, this didn't just happen overnight. If we roll it back a bit, the early days of rock in Japan were pretty much a boys' club. Male bands were dominating, while female bands, they were grinding, trying to find their place in a super competitive and sometimes conservative music scene. But you know what? Talent always shines through. Little by little, female-led or all-girl bands started getting noticed, surprising everyone with how legit they were. Killer songwriting, insane instrumental skills, and total mastery over different rock and metal styles, from hard rock to full-on extreme metal. And we can't forget about the internet. Shout out to social media for being a game changer. Platforms like YouTube, Spotify, and Instagram made it so much easier for these female bands to break out beyond Japan. Suddenly, they've got fans all over the world. And hey, playing at huge festivals like Download and Wacken Open Air? That definitely didn't hurt. Those stages really helped them build their rep internationally. And now, they've got the world watching, which means even more up-and-coming female bands are getting the spotlight. Now, the female rock scene in Japan is just straight up thriving. It's constantly evolving, and there's so much variety, from alt-rock to power metal, all of it driven by seriously talented women who are just owning it. And here's the best part. The new wave of bands coming up right now, they're not just keeping the tradition alive, they're pushing boundaries, shaking things up, and taking the genre to places we haven't even imagined yet. The scene's never been stronger, and these artists are absolutely set to shape the future of Japanese rock on a global scale. So, with all that said, let's dive in. Who are the new faces we should be watching? Who are the next big stars ready to break out and take over the Japanese rock scene? Stick around because we're about to explore the emerging bands that are going to be the future of this whole movement. Let's dive into this because female Japanese rock is booming, and these emerging bands, man, they're killing it, gaining fans left and right, not just in Japan, but worldwide. They're all about pushing boundaries, experimenting with different sounds, and showcasing some seriously impressive technical skills. So in this chapter, we're going to highlight 5 up-and-coming bands that are making waves and have all the potential to become the next big thing in Japanese rock. From classic heavy metal vibes to some genre-bending fusions, these artists are totally representing the future of Japanese rock. Let's get into it. Nemophila. First up, we gotta talk about Nemophila. These ladies hit the scene in 2019, and people cannot stop talking about them. They've got this killer blend of heavy metal and modern rock going on, and they're already showing signs of becoming one of Japan's big rock powerhouses. Their vocalist, Mayu, oh man, she's got these insane pipes. She can scream like nobody's business, but also hit those clean, melodic notes. And the rest of the band? Fast, heavy riffs that just stick with you. Even though they lean pretty heavy, they know how to sneak in catchy melodies, so they're pulling in both the hardcore metal crowd and the more casual listeners. Their album Revive, which dropped in 2021, was a major turning point for them. It showed off their technical skills and how tight they are as a band. They're not just catching attention in Japan either. they've been making waves internationally, especially at festivals where they're sharing stages with metal legends. Nemophila might still be pretty new, but with the way they're going, it's looking like global domination is just around the corner. Now, technically, Gachurkspin has been around for a minute, but they're really picking up steam overseas now. These ladies got together in 2009, and their sound, it's all over the place, in the best way possible. They're throwing rock, pop, and even some electronic stuff into the mix, creating this super fun, energetic vibe that's also crazy complex when you really break it down. These women are serious musicians. Like, they can do heavy metal 1 minute and then switch it up with something lighter and more dancey the next. It's nuts, but it works. Their live shows? Total chaos, but in the best way. They're not just standing there playing their instruments. They're doing full-on choreographed routines, interacting with the crowd, turning their concerts into legit shows. If you want to dive into their stuff, check out their 2021 album Gold Dash. It's got everything that makes them stand out. Even after more than a decade, Gachurkspin is out here reinventing themselves, pulling in new fans with every show, especially outside Japan. Asterism. Now, if you're into instrumental stuff, you've got to check out Asterism. This trio of ridiculously talented young musicians is one of the hottest names in Japanese rock and metal right now. Their guitarist, Halk. She's basically a guitar prodigy, shredding solos with so much speed and precision, it's hard to believe. The band's got this technical, virtuoso approach to metal, blending progressive and thrash elements with these melodic undertones to keep their music accessible even if you're not usually into instrumental metal. Their live performances, dude, it's like a technical masterclass. Every member is just so locked in with their instrument. Their 2020 album Ignition really put them on the map, not just in Japan, but with metal fans worldwide. They've got a bright future ahead, especially for anyone who loves that fusion of sheer technical skill and raw emotion in rock. Lonesome Blue. Next up, we've got Lonesome Blue, one of the newer bands on the scene that's blending melodic Japanese rock with some hard rock and power metal vibes. These guys, or should I say girls, are killing it with their powerful vocals and super melodic guitar work. What makes them stand out is how they balance heavy riffs with catchy, emotional melodies. They're tackling all the big relatable topics in their lyrics: love, loss, overcoming obstacles, which is helping them really connect with fans on a deeper level. What's cool about Lonesome Blue is that they're attracting both metalheads and fans of softer rock because they're so versatile. They're still pretty fresh, but their fan base is growing fast, both in Japan and abroad. They've only dropped a few EPs so far, but the hype for a full album is real, and they're definitely a band to keep on your radar if you're into female Japanese rock. Trident. Last but definitely not least, we've got Trident. These guys are one of the newer names coming out of the underground, and they're bringing this fierce combo of Visual Kei and metalcore. They've got some former members from other Visual Kei and metalcore bands, so they've really pulled together this heavy, aggressive sound that's matched with a super striking visual aesthetic. When they hit the stage, it's not just about the music, it's a whole visual experience. Their sound? Intense. Heavy guitar riffs, aggressive vocals, but then they'll hit you with these melodic, emotional moments that pull you in. Trident's still early in their career, with just a few singles and live performances under their belt, but they're already building a loyal fan base that's growing fast. Their strong visuals combined with their powerful sound are making them stand out, and with the way they're going, it's clear they're ready to make a big impact on the Japanese rock scene. So look, in the last few years, streaming platforms and social media have totally flipped how we get our music fix, right? And for female Japanese rock bands, oh man, this whole digital shift was a game changer, like next level stuff. Suddenly, these bands are getting their music out there, not just in Japan, but worldwide. We're talking Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Twitter, Insta, all of that, letting artists reach fans across the globe with like a few clicks. Crazy, right? Streaming platforms? Total game changer. Instead of depending on big old record labels and selling CDs, now bands can just drop their music straight onto these platforms, and boom, millions of people can listen. It's kind of like leveling the playing field. Even smaller bands, ones you've probably never heard of before, they're now standing toe-to-toe with big-name artists. Look at bands like Nemophila or Lonesome Blue, right? They put their stuff on Spotify and Apple Music, and suddenly, they've got fans everywhere. Thanks to those sneaky algorithms, their tracks end up in playlists for rock, metal, hard rock fans who didn't even know they existed. Playlists like New Music Friday or Rock Rising. If you land there, that's it. You've made it. New fans start popping up all over. And here's the best part. Fans from all over the world don't have to wait for CDs to drop in their country. You can jam to those new releases right when they hit, no delays. It's like a global party. Plus, these communities of fans online, they're hyping up the music, sharing it everywhere, which makes the band's reach grow even more. Now, YouTube? Man, that's the visual hub. If streaming platforms changed how we hear music, YouTube changed how we see it. Music vids, live shows behind the scenes, it's where bands get real with their fans. They're not just sharing their music, but their personalities, their vibe, their stage presence. All that stuff connects deeper with the fans. Like, take Asterism, for example. They're using YouTube to post live performances, showing off their insane musical skills. And yeah, that's how they're building a fan base outside Japan. Because not everyone gets to see live shows easily. They're putting out high-quality vids. People see them, they love them, and bam, more fans. YouTube is also great for bands starting out. They can drop a low-budget music vid, and if it hits, they start leveling up. More elaborate vids come later as they grow. And since YouTube's free for everyone, it's easier for people to stumble onto new bands. The barrier to discovery? Super low. Then there's Insta and Twitter. If YouTube is for the big visual performances, Instagram and Twitter are like where the real fan connections happen. Instagram? Oh, that's the spot for bands to post personal stuff. Photos, vids, life behind the scenes. Fans want to see the real them. The artists chilling, rehearsing, living their lives. Trident, for instance, uses Instagram to share all that behind-the-scenes content. It makes fans feel like they're part of the journey, right? And those Insta stories? It's like real-time updates. The fans feel like they're right there with them. Plus, they can leave comments, and sometimes the band will even reply back, which, let's be honest, makes fans feel super special. And hashtags like J-Rock or female-fronted rock make sure the posts are hitting the right crowd. Twitter's where it's at for quick updates. New single? Tour dates? Twitter's the first place to drop that news. And the way fans can retweet and share, it's like a wildfire of promotion. Fans can talk directly to fans. And yeah, English tweets are becoming a thing too, so they're reaching international fans super easily. Now, one of the wildest things about this whole digital scene is how fast these bands can grow internationally. Back in the day, it would have been almost impossible for some of these bands to tour outside Japan. But now, thanks to their online popularity, they're out there doing shows worldwide. Fans discover them online, and next thing you know, they're at a packed venue halfway across the globe. And yo, platforms like Patreon and Ko-Fi? Fans are using those to financially support their fave bands. It's a win-win. The fans get exclusive content, and the bands can keep putting out music and planning tours. Especially for indie bands, this is clutch, because they don't have that major label backing. So what's next for female Japanese rock bands in this digital age? The sky's the limit. Streaming and social media have completely changed the game, making it easier for these artists to break through, tapped not just in Japan, but around the world. These platforms are building tight-knit global fan communities that are pushing these bands to new heights. And the future? Well, it's going to be a mix of raw talent, digital smarts, and fan dedication. All thanks to the wild ride that is streaming and social media. The future of female-fronted Japanese rock looks brighter than ever. Can't wait to see what's next. All right, so let me break it down for you. Real casual-like, as if we're just hanging out on a podcast, chatting about the rise of Japanese female rock. It's super exciting, and honestly, it's just getting started. Bands like BAND-MAID, Love Bites, and Nemophila, they've totally cracked open the door to the global stage, and now the world's paying attention to the crazy talent coming out of Japan. This chapter, we're diving into what's next for these rock queens, and trust me, it's looking pretty wild. 1. International takeovers coming. Okay, so here's the deal. Japanese female rock is already growing, right? Thanks to platforms like YouTube, Spotify, all that good stuff, these bands are getting fans everywhere. I mean, streaming is the name of the game. The more people hear them, the bigger their reach. And we're gonna see them popping up all over the place. International tours? Yeah, those are about to be way more common, especially in places like North America and Europe, where people are super into rock and metal. Big festivals like Download or Whack-In are already starting to bring these bands in, and that's a big old sign that the Japanese ladies are here to stay. More of them are gonna hit those stages, no doubt. Number 2, genre bending like crazy. Here's where it gets fun. Japanese rock has always been about mixing things up, right? We're talking J-rock, symphonic metal, you name it. But looking ahead, we're about to see even more wild combinations. I'm talking bands mixing rock with EDM, hip-hop, pop, and even traditional Japanese sounds. Think about it. Technology's making it easier, and with influences from all over the world, these bands are gonna keep pushing the envelope. Look at Trident or Dollbox. Those bands are already blending metal with pop and electronic vibes. It's fresh, it's catchy, and honestly, it's just the start of where things are headed. Expect more of that genre mixing madness in the future. Our 3, ladies leading the charge. Here's the thing, there's no stopping the rise of female representation in rock, especially in Japan. The industry's been pretty male-dominated, but now, we've got more women stepping up as band leaders, shredding guitars, banging on drums, and just killing it on stage. The industry, it's gonna have to adapt, giving more space for these women to shine. And hey, we might even see more all-female collectives, like Femme Force or something, coming together to support each other. The big wigs in music, the labels, the festivals, they're all gonna start valuing female talent a lot more. It's overdue, but it's happening. 4, tech's gonna change everything. Now let's talk tech. With all the crazy advancements in music production, these bands don't need big labels to put out their stuff anymore. They've got home studios, they've got Bandcamp, and they've got all the tools to do it themselves. More independence means more creativity, and that's huge. Expect to see more underground bands popping up and finding their fans directly online. There's gonna be a wave of new female rock bands, and they won't have to rely on anyone but their own skills and some internet hustle to blow up. Number 5, tying it all into pop culture. All right, now you know Japan's pop culture is everywhere, right? Anime, video games, all that. Well, the crossover with rock is just gonna get bigger. We've already seen bands like Scandal and BAND-MAID do anime soundtracks or commercials, but that's just the beginning. I wouldn't be surprised if more bands are dropping tracks for the next big anime series or game. And with events like Comic-Con or Anime Expo, you can bet these bands are gonna start performing at places like that too. It's a win-win. Fans of anime get to discover new music, and rock fans get a taste of what's coming out of Japan's pop culture scene. Number 6, live shows will get a tech upgrade. Live shows? Japan's always been on point with those. The energy? Insane. But get this, in the future, we might be seeing some next level stuff with tech like AR and VR. Imagine slapping on a VR headset and boom, you're front row at a Japanese rock show without even leaving your couch. Sounds kind of cool, right? These bands are gonna get super creative with how they perform, blending digital with physical shows. Who knows what kind of wild experiences we'll get, but it's gonna be epic for sure. #7, global fandom's getting stronger. Finally, the fan community. This is where things get interesting. With the internet, fans from all over the world are linking up, forming communities on Discord, Reddit, you name it. These groups are doing a lot to keep the buzz going, sharing new music, hyping up shows, and even organizing meetups for live gigs. The fan support? It's gonna be one of the biggest reasons these bands keep growing globally. Fans are the lifeblood of rock, and they're gonna make sure Japanese female rock keeps climbing the ranks. Wrapping it up, so there you have it. The future of Japanese female rock is looking bright, with new tech, more fans, and some seriously talented ladies at the helm. This isn't just a passing trend. This is a global force that's gonna keep breaking barriers and winning over hearts around the world. What's next? Who knows? But I can't wait to see how it all evolves. All right, folks, as we wrap up today's episode, here's a little something for you. Go check out and support the emerging bands we've been hyping up. The Japanese female rock scene is blowing up right now, and these amazing artists totally deserve our attention. Follow them on all the digital platforms, keep an eye out for new releases, and hey, share their music with your friends who might vibe with it. This is just a starting point. Trust me, you're gonna stumble on even more killer bands as you dive into this scene. And yo, hit us up on social media. Let us know what you think about these bands, which tracks or albums really hit you hard. We're all ears, and who knows, maybe we'll be talking about your favorite bands in a future episode. Oh, and don't forget, if you dug this episode, smash that like button, share it around, and follow us for all things Japanese female rock. Let's keep spreading the word and get more people hooked on these awesome artists. Catch you next time.